over the moon and delighted to get to celebrate with Lynda Edge her graduation and celebration.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to start this with a little quote from a Brandon Lake song that every time I hear it, I think of myself, because it says, "I should not be alive. My future was 6 feet under. No hope to be saved at that time in the beginning of my journey here." If you knew me in my past, you would never ever think that I would be here today. I was an addict for 41 years, hardcore addict. I started using at 13 years old. Every day I had drugs just to I had to have drugs just to function. As years went by, I lost myself and any hope for a future. In and out of prison, not caring about anything. Not a thing. I wanted to stop. I was tired, worn out. I knew I had a lot of work to do. I didn't know who I was. My personality was lost from all the drugs. Everything about my life, all of it, was stripped from me. I was empty, completely empty. I needed help, a lot of help. I did make the decision that I had to work on myself. To do this, I again needed more help. I began to pray as much as I could. I knew about God, but had never paid much attention to him in my life. I found out about Magdalene House when I was in prison. I applied and I prayed, and the door was opened. I actually went to New Freedom first, and I told Dorothy in an email that, hey, I need to really go to a place, a rehab that can, have classes and stuff. And I chose that first. And then as I kept praying, Dorothy emailed me back and she said, how about doing both? And I was, oh my God, I was like on the floor. It was like, oh my God, thank you so much, God, so much for that answer, because I wanted both. But I knew I had to pick my addiction first. So, and what was inside me that was broken. And I knew that I had to go to treatment, to identify more with who I was. So I applied and I prayed, and the door was open, like I said, and this journey I was about to go on would be hard and a lot of work. But I had hope that I could change. I had to be pushed and maybe learn the value of life. Magdalene House, I went there after New Freedom. They had a lot of rules. Bible study, church, NA meetings, and we had to volunteer as well. Most importantly was the church that stuck most with me throughout this journey. I began to meet people. I became more involved. Every step of the way I was praying, though, still praying. Then I met Dorothy, whose role was to make sure us girls were doing all that was expected of us. I had a few bumps in the road, but Dorothy would help me through them all. She gave me advice, she taught me things, and even punished me at times. I wasn't getting it in the beginning. I had to be molded into getting it. But she was there for me and never given up on me, guiding me in the direction I had never known, reminding me, pray on any decision you make, just keep praying. That's what she would tell me. And I give thanks to Deacon Gay as well, and the program. If it wasn't for Deacon Gay working so hard to give us girls the chance to have a better life in that house, because that house did way more than they ever thought they were going to do. And I cannot explain how much I got out of being at that house. I know I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't gone there. I know that because other times I got out of prison and I just kept going and going and going. And so I cannot say enough about Magdalene House. That is the best way anybody could change their life, because you showed us how to live. You showed us how to meet the right people. You showed us everything that we needed to learn to become a better person and meet the right people that are now in our lives. So, I don't remember where I stopped. I began to grow with the right people. I grew with the right people in my life. I started to invest in myself. All the time I was praying, learning more about God. God would be working in me throughout my journey. I already said that, sorry. I give thanks to the women that became family to me as well. Every step of the way, these girls were there for me, holding me accountable, guiding me. When emotions were high, they held me. A family I never had, never. Beautiful relationships were created in that house. Absolutely. I miss them so much already, but it's okay. I gotta move on. It's time for me to be the woman that God meant me to be.
Come on.
You know? That's right. Yes. And then I met Debbie. When I started to volunteer with Debbie, I was Debbie's helper. Debbie would teach the children about God, and it was amazing. Little did she know she was teaching me as well. I was a baby in God at that point, so I learned a lot, and I'm so thankful because Debbie is a genuine friend. She has helped me. She has talked with me. She has given me direction. And most of all, hugged me when I was really upset about something that was going on in my life. Thank you, Debbie, so much. You know? And then I give thanks to my friend Mike Richards. He's not here today because he had surgery. Michael has known me since I was 13 years old. He was the only one that stood by me, no matter what I did. Everybody else abandoned me. I was an addict. Nobody wanted anything to do with me. So Michael stood by me through everything. I could go and knock on his door in the middle of the night, all strung out on drugs he didn't use, and I'd knock on the door and Michael would throw me in the car and feed me first because he said I was too skinny. And then he'd take me all the way to Black Canyon City at the drop of a dime to make sure I was okay, so I wouldn't be walking around in Phoenix. And so I had never had anybody stick with me. He would be there for me when I went to prison as well. He would help me with whatever was needed, and I thank Michael for that a whole lot. Michael, you meant a lot to me and still mean a lot to me. Today, I am living a better life. I come to church, I volunteer, I have a job, and I give thanks to this church, everybody in it, for being so friendly to me, welcoming, but most of anything is God. God. Giving me direction, working inside of me, giving me answers that I would use every step of the way throughout this journey. God is a huge part of my life today, and he will always be, and I'm extremely thankful that I was introduced to him and was taught more about him, and here I am today. So another quote from Brandon Lake. If you think you're beyond his saving, no wounds are not too great, as I am the living, breathing testimony of God. Our God is alive. Thank you.